probably 15 to 20% that are affected with these curb or driveway approach repairs or replacement. And all the other ones of us that don't have the need for that repair, we're still paying for it. So we have to make sure we make a good decision here.
I think, you know, curb and gutter, the roadways, they're all part of the stormwater system. You just can't say, well, we're not going to include that.
That's why the existing house was included. Correct.
So everybody pays their fair share, whether they have curb and gutter in front of the house or not. Because they're driving down the same roads that do have curb and gutter that collect.
As Kent said, we all agreed that, okay, it's a good BMP, best management practice, to run the sweeper over there in each of them, because it's not done in that facility, it actually ends up in our system. It runs through theirs. So to me, that's no question, we need to start. Is there any other comments, questions? Obviously concerned.
Yeah, I understand that stuff, you know. Curb and driveway approach, is that when, if you were to go in there and do something, then that's to replace what you have dug up? Is that what that is?
That's Gene, that's his.
What we have in the older part of the city is we have a lot of the approaches that are connected to the curb and gutter. Normally, the resident is responsible to replace the approach. What happens is we have bad curb and gutter that's connected to the approach. The timing of the resident being able to afford to replace their entire approach when we have a curb and gutter problem probably will not always work. I see down the road that in a few years we're going to have a lot of failure on our curb and gutter / approaches, which are connected to each other. And the only way I think that we can repair them at that time is to plan ahead and budget for it. It's a bad design that probably went out of existence 20-something years ago, but we're still stuck with these situations where the approach might be good, but the curb and gutter's bad. And to convey the stormwater, we got to take out the whole approach. Normally now your approach is separate than your curb and gutter, where if you have an approach problem, the resident pays for it. Unless it's a real safety issue, then the city would probably step in. But normal circumstances, if we have something in curb and gutter, we just replace curb and gutter and we don't touch the approach. But again, where we have this old style and design, it's kind of a costly situation, and I think the only way we're ever going to be able to resolve the matter is to probably plan and budget for it. And that's why we began this budget just last year, is because as I go throughout the city, I see that we're going to have a potential problem on the failure, because a lot of these aren't going to last forever. They're going to need some sort of maintenance sooner or later, and I thought we're going to probably have to bite the bullet and start planning and budgeting for it. So it is to convey water, and I agree with 100%. The mayor and I talked about that today. Curb and gutter is to convey water, and it's to convey water for the whole neighborhood, not just for the area in front of that home. And so we're trying to look at the big picture. And so when I'm saying curb and gutter / approach, and I think that that's why it's worded that way, so it's clarified what we mean is the curb and gutter that's connected to the approaches in this sense would be replaced. So that's kind of why we're doing what we're doing in that. If that helps you out, Michelle.
Okay, because I had thought of that, Rick said, you know, there's people then that are paying, I mean, I don't have curb and gutter in my house. The whole road doesn't have curb and gutter, so we're in a sense paying for this, but we're not going to pay that curb either.
And the way I've looked at it is the street sweeping is a really good benefit to give them. It benefits us. As far as my opinion on the curb and gutter / approach, I would tend to lean towards that it could be looked at how Wayne looked at it, and that's how I look at it, discussed with the mayor, is that you know, the entire city is kind of in this together as far as that's concerned. And so I kind of look at it that way too. Even, you know, to answer your question about not having curb gutter in front of your home, still you're involved in the big umbrella,
Right.
you know? And I kind of look at it that way
So,
too.
so don't you think there would be a problem if we give, you know, if my street finds out that, okay, we've given it to somebody else, and my street gets together,
And, well,
and says, you know, we don't want to pay for it either.
And that's what I've always said on this whole deal is, I'll do whatever the mayor and council wants, but be careful on precedent.
Right.
Right.
And I've always said that, and the homeowners association, I get along with them really well, and I've always been upfront with them. This is the mayor and council action, it's something that needs to be discussed, however, always bear in mind that you don't want to do anything that's gonna set a precedent. And in my opinion, alone is, I think street sweeping is a good, service to give them. As far as the withholding any money for the drive approaches and stuff, that's just one option to consider, but the mayor and council has the leverage and latitude to do whatever. My opinion is I would say that they would fall under the umbrella like you, where you don't have curb and gutter, but you're still contributing to the big picture. So, that's, I have to agree with you on that.
Thank you, that helps.
Seems to be sooner or later, it's gonna come around to your house, and you're gonna have to have something replaced.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's taking forward.
Yeah. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other thoughts, discussion?
Yeah, I just have a general question for Ken. Is there any other cities that you know of that treat EVs differently like this? And you're
I'm not aware of any routes that, so I'd have to probably do some research, but
I'm just
I
curious.
don't think they do. I think most of it is just
Each month.
residents, yeah. I don't know, Wayne, Ogden City, do they, anything?
No.